Welcome back, viewers. Panel, welcome back. We're going to talk about the topic of pressure. Not the pressure you people experience, but what you see as the most obvious examples of pressure. And then I'm going to ask you to collectively just say how you would handle that person's pressure. So as we go, let's go this way. Scotty, an example, a frequent example of pressure that you see in other players. Just very quickly.
An obvious one is being down on the head on the changeover.
That's as much as we need to hit. Yeah.
We need to talk about that one because that's a good one.
Oh yeah, we'll go back to
pressure. To me, I simply try to make every bowl better than the last.
That's your solution, as opposed to pressure. Okay.
Playing against players, I won't call it high profile, just say players that you know are very, very good players.
Okay, Dan?
Just having to play a really crucial bowl.
Yeah. But don't forget, I'm talking about what you see most in other people having pressure.
Yep.
It's fighting the demons in your head.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's about your comfort levels on the day when you're not feeling ready for battle.
Okay.
I just don't watch other people's. I watch myself. I look after myself. I don't really take much notice because I want to win.
Okay.
Poor skill execution is an example of pressure. See a bit. 4 weeks bad performance. Starting to tense up a bit. I need a good week. Otherwise, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Danny, you reacted very quickly, so let's.
The one about being down. Bocce pairs is a great example of a training track drill that we can get used to being down because we need to explain bocce pairs at some point.
Do it now. Do it now.
It's a game of pairs where the first pair throws the jack and rolls the first bowl, and then the opposition pair keep bowling until they own shot. So it places the importance on getting the first bowl close, getting used to being down, so that kind of helps with that reduced pressure, and being able to add at the end. It's a great skill, especially for Thursday nights. It's a great team skill and it gets people used to being down all the time because 90% when you're playing bocce pairs, you're down. So
Gee, we haven't done that drill for a long time, have we?
No.
Have we elbows? Do you remember that drill?
Yeah.
Gee, yeah. Any other reactions to the examples of pressure you heard? Dan, you're the player.
I've seen it a lot, especially with my first year coaching. It's often thought of as the most common physical problem with delivery, which is people not staying down, therefore people jumping up, which often causes the bowl to be short because the transfer of energy is going up rather than forward. I think most people would ordinarily think that that's a physical problem. I believe that in a lot of cases it's a mental issue, and what I mean by that is under pressure people are more likely to look up or jump up quickly because they're too anxious to see where that bowl has gone, rather than staying down as they would normally under a lesser pressure situation. So I reckon it's up here, and so it's obviously about training people to think about that and identify if they are in that situation to try and take that little bit longer, stay down longer, think about the process rather than the outcome.
I think.
Sorry. Go on.
I was just going to say I have a very simple philosophy. And I love keeping things really simply. If it's personal related, if it's about you and you're executing the bowl and you feel pressure because you haven't performed for a number of weeks, or you feel pressure about your lack of execution, it just comes back to what is your routine. So what is routine? How can you get your rhythm and your routine going so you know what the basics are of what a good performance feels like in that context? If it's external pressure where other people are impacting you and you don't know how to deal with it, stronger teammates or, you know, just other colleagues from within your team to help you through that, and or tap into your coaching panels within the club, and help talk through that, because part of the role of coaching and all that sort of stuff is you need to be part psychologist as well. So, and a lot of this is about dealing with those demons and that sort of thing. But the personal side, that's measurable, manageable, and you can actually do it yourself by getting into those kinds of routines.
I like the idea of introducing training scenarios that introduce pressure situations. As an example, I introduced a thing which I affectionately call land the mat. And it's a mat that goes out on the green, and it's a standard training drill based on the elbows philosophy of a mat short, mat wide, 2 mats behind. So it's about zone bowling, and that goes out every training session, and I get players to practice landing the mat. So what I decided to do was introduce competition. So after Christmas, we ran 6 weeks on Thursday night, land the mat competition, $50 prize, 25, 15, 10, and there were scoring zones, and they scored. And the objective was to get them practicing land the mat. And I said, as soon as you feel comfortable about how well you're going, put your hand in your pocket and take out $2 and enter the competition. And it's amazing that when they started to think around, I'm now paying $2 and I'm going in a competition where I could win some money, that the mindset around what they've been doing, concentrating on the process, fell away. And they started thinking about the result rather than concentrating on the process. And
50 results, wasn't it?
and I just kept saying to them, thanks for the donation, thanks for the donation.
Yeah.
So it was putting a competitive element back into training, which reinforced what happens between here in terms of how you get your delivery away.
Can I add to that, harking back to what Lloydie said, pressure for a lot of players is, did you say 4 bad games in a row?
Okay.
Oh, well, 2. Well, even 2, mate, even 2. How about I put a couple of words in front of you to react to? Peer pressure and selection pressure. Do either of those 2 terms have a reaction to you? Which one do you want to respond to?
Oh, I like the peer pressure. And peer pressure can actually be your own interpretation of what peer pressure is, because in a game of pennant or a game of fours, you're performing or you're not performing each week.
In this case, not performing.
So yeah, not performing in this case, but you're actually wondering when your teammates will give up on you.
Guaranteed.
So that's the peer pressure component, where they're actually saying they know I haven't played well for the last 3 or 4. When are they going to give up on you?
Yeah.
That's different to the selection.
Yeah.
Can I just ask Lloydie a question?
Yeah, you go.
What's the evidence that you're able to use that is telling somebody that they're not performing? Are you keeping a record of bowls that go down? What's the feedback you've got available to you, concrete feedback rather than being subjective, that enables you to say you're not performing because of blah, blah, blah?
Look, I mean, this is based on probably Saturday results, weeks down. I think we know from personal reviews when you're not playing well. You get that gist. I think personally for myself as well, you know if you're due for a good game, have a few bad games in a row, you need to start the game at some point. So that's kind of what I was talking about on Saturdays, that repeat bad performance after the other. In terms of what Bear's saying about peer pressure, I was, in my first year of coaching, I made a poor decision. We decided that team practice was critical. So we'd have our first side training with the first side, second side training with the second side, so on and so forth. And then we dropped one of our guys from the first side. Of course, next week in training, we spent the whole year training with one set of guys. We He's now moved to another set of guys who are on the other side of the ring. You can see them, you can watch them. He's feeling separated from them. He's feeling like he doesn't belong now and be part of that club. And then at that stage, separating those two sides wasn't the way to go. I think with peer pressure, it's the same deal. You get peer pressure by not being part of the group as well.
Selection pressure? Players have that?
Definitely.
I think what we're talking about here, both topics, I think it comes down to each person's personality. This is my first year as a coach. There's ways that you adapt yourself to each scenario. So what Lloyd said about personal performance or other performances of other teams or rigs or individuals. It's up to, in my mind, it's not so much the coach's role to identify that, hey, you're not playing well. They should know that, and adapt themselves to change the way that they're either practicing or the amount of practice that they're playing. And then selection sort of follows along that road as well, because if they're a good selection panel, they start seeing the numbers coming in that, hey, you might be going out of the team. They might talk to you about it, but then it's reactionary, isn't it? It's how that person deals with that situation, whether they see it as a positive influence or a negative influence. If they see it as a negative influence, how will they react? If they see it as a positive, do they go and practice more? Do they see a coach? So I think it's up to each individual's personality and their makeup, and potentially their sporting background to see how they'll push past that point. So, and that's unique to bowls, because you've got people that haven't played sport before and then played bowls, team sports or tennis, or and now we're all trying to bind together to play a team game, which ranges from ages 10 to 80. So you've got a broad range of just, personalities, influences, whatever. So I think that's very important.
So, Dick,
Who's providing the information or the evidence to the selectors about what's not happening? Is it coming from the skip? And if so, did the skip have a game plan? Was there a notion of this is the role from the front end, the back end? Because I've seen situations where a team within the side has not been performing well, and yet when you ask the front end what's going on, they'll say, well, we've been getting bowls in the head, it's just not been finished off. So, I don't see enough good information going to the selectors that provides them with what they need to be able to make informative decisions about who should come, who should go, and that's to me that's an issue. That we need to have better evidence around what the game plan is, what the role of each individual is, and how that particular team is combining.
Phil, and then we'll call you.
If you're a selector, how many people can you select in your club? You have 5? We have 5. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
So, selector should be, I don't want to play post because I'm a selector last few years and last year. I like to watch how they play. I watch the teams, I follow them. So if the skip will come back and give the report to us, so I have my say. I say that one's not playing well, and that one was interfering all the time, and blaming the team, but the skip never reached the head. So I have to watch myself, and then I can.
Well, wind it up, but that's interesting, isn't it? At club level, very, very few selectors watch. They're all out playing, and therefore they're making decisions without observing anything. Just before I wind this up, viewers, I just want to hark back to Dino making the comment before about land the mat. that land the map will be on one of the video clips later as a practical session. So again, thank you very much, everyone.